The NFL is horrified of this. We're going to talk about Dak Prescott as well as the other three quarterbacks of the NFC East, why Dak Prescott is poised to have a bounce back season, as well as Trevon Diggs and the Deron Bland injuries. Welcome back. Welcome back to Cowboys Digest. My name is Tyree, Allison. We appreciate you checking in. Before we get going, please, we noticed that 86% of you watching, the number one source for everything Cowboys, are not subscribed. It is 100% free, ladies and gentlemen. We ask that you hit that subscribe button and make sure you are here first to get the updates from Cowboys Digest. Now, let's get right into it. We got to talk about the four quarterbacks of the NFC East, and we're going to leave Dak for last. So let's keep it simple. Let's talk about expectations versus reality. So expectations for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, the expectations are to get back to a Super Bowl. The team is fresh off winning a Super Bowl. The expectations for Jalen Hurts is to get back there and contend for another. The reality is that team lost a lot of pieces between the backfield and the D-line. Now, they did draft well, albeit, but you don't necessarily get back to the Super Bowl with a team that is not the exact same team. And even when that's the case, Tampa Bay has gone to show, even when you sign the exact same team, you're not necessarily going back. I was coming somewhere with that. So the expectations versus reality with the Eagles is the expectations are they're going to be contenders. The reality is we don't know if they're going to go back to a Super Bowl, but they will 100% contend. Now, going on, again, we're going to save Dak for last. Jaden Daniels, what are the expectations versus the reality? The expectations, get back to the championship game. We're talking about a quarterback in year one with a year one coach and pretty much a year one ownership, get to the NFC championship game. Expectations, get back. The reality is they have gotten a lot better in the offseason, adding Deebo Samuel to the offense and drafting well defensively as well. So expectations, get back to the championship game. Again, reality, they can 100% do it. Now, what are the Giants? What are the Giants' expectations? What are the Giants, what's the reality? The expectations, probably at least a winning season. The reality, that defensive line has gotten better. They have a quarterback room who's got a two-time Super Bowl appearance, one Super Bowl win vet. You got a guy like Jameis Winston, who you just love to have in your quarterback room, and the new guy, Dart, who's coming in, to really kind of, soak up all that, quarterback vet vibes that he's going to get. What are the expectations in reality? Expectations, the Giants are probably going to be somewhat of a sleeper team, and the Cowboys, we really shouldn't sleep on them, and I don't think we will. I mean, from the footage and from what I'm seeing, the defensive line looks nasty, but let's be real. All defensive lines, I feel like, look great in training camp and at practice when you're not necessarily going full speed, because you also don't want to, have any, crazy injuries happen at all, anything like that. So expectations, reality for the Giants, I think they're going to be a solid team, but the reality of it is, are they going to contend for a Super Bowl? That is yet to be seen. Now, Dak Prescott, expectations versus reality. Well, the expectations are an NFC Championship game and a Super Bowl. And the reality is that finally, Jerry Jones, owner GM, has done he's done what's necessary to at least contend, and there be a reality that you can say, well, maybe we can get there. I mean, we added George Pickens. Go check out my guy Jace's video on that. He uploaded it yesterday. Get all the news on George Pickens from him. He's going to be a dog opposite CeeDee Lamb, not to mention Kevontae Turpin. We got 4 running backs. We have a run blocking and pass blocking tight end. And I believe in Jalen Tolbert. I do believe in Jalen Tolbert. I'm not a Jalen Tolbert hater. I think the expectations versus reality, or expectations versus reality with the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott is simple. They expect to be a team that contend, and the reality is they made all the necessary moves in the offseason to be able to contend. Now it's about staying healthy and making it shake, honestly. And speaking of making it shake, let's look at Dak Prescott's full career stats. The full career stats are impressive when you look at two things. One, the first 4 seasons, 16 games, all. He actually had a really impressive stat early in his career that he was one of the most winningest quarterbacks, with like Tom Brady only ahead of him. But injury has plagued that. But one thing you need to take, going a little too far, one thing you need to pay attention to regarding Dak Prescott and injury history is simply this. He statistically has a ridiculous season coming back from injury. I cut it off here, so we're going to go straight to 2020. In 2020, that was when he had that really bad injury where like the foot, the ankle like went to the left. It was bad. I don't even want to talk about it. So he had that injury. He was on pace that season to put up over like 5,000 passing yards and like 40 plus touchdowns. He was on pace for that in 2020. Injury happens the following year. He puts up 4,400 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 picks. He goes crazy. And then two years ago in 2022, that was when he played 12 games, but he was having that thumb injury. The thumb really plagued him. You could see it in his throw, and that's why he went for only 23 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. That was terrible. And then you look at what happened the following season. Played all 17 games and proceeded to be second in voting in MVP, putting up 4,500 passing yards, 36 touchdowns to 9 picks. And then you look at what he did last year, 8 games. He is 100%, as statistics show. He bounces back. Dak Prescott bounces back the following year when he comes back from an injury that takes him out for a significant portion or affects the prior season. That's just what it is. We're going to take a quick look at the stats, though, of all the quarterbacks in the NFC East, starting with Dak Prescott first. So you look at Dak. I mean, this is 8 games, 11 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing. He did throw 8 interceptions with a completion percentage of 64.7. This is just 8 games. I do foresee him tripling a lot of these numbers, and specifically the touchdown passes. I see him throwing easily. I see him throwing 30 plus. You move on to Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels did play all 17 games with 25 passing and 6 rushing. He did have 9 interceptions with a completion percentage of 69.0 with 31 total touchdowns. Jayden Daniels had a phenomenal rookie season, and you can almost expect that he's looking to follow that up and do even better. Russell Wilson only played 11 games with 16 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing. He did have 5 interceptions with a completion percentage of 64.7, the exact same as Dak, and with 18 total touchdowns. I mean, he wasn't terrible. Again, Russell Wilson is a vet, and you have to be ready to play the vet that he is, no matter the team that he's on. A little too far, sorry. Moving on, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts played 15 games. I do believe he rested a couple based upon them having the bye. So you definitely rest your quarterback. He had 18 passing touchdowns, 14 rushing. I'm going to say it. About 12 of those were tush push, but, hey, those were the touchdowns with 32 total. So, again, looking at all 4 quarterbacks, going through the stats and seeing exactly, what they were able to do in the time that they played last season. You see what the results are when you play the whole season, and you see what the results are, when injury plagues a team. We hate to see it, but that's just kind of one of those things that you got to deal with. But Dak Prescott is still 33-8 versus the NFC East. Come on. You know where I was getting to. You know where I was going. Listen, he's still Father Dak Prescott. He's not getting beat by Father Time in no way, shape, or form. Dak Prescott is 33-8 versus this division, and he is 100% going to have a crazy bounce back year. Now, speaking of bounce back years, let's take a quick look at our 2 defensive backs from last season that are set to come back this year. So, Trevon Diggs in his last 11 games, just 2 interceptions, 1 yard, and 35 solo tackles. Now, when you go over to DaRon Bland, he played 7 games, 1 forced fumble, 1 recovered fumble, and 29 solo tackles. I got a quote here from Alex Ballantyne. I actually have 2 in regards to the Cowboys defense and the backfield specifically. So first, he says the Cowboys had a deeply flawed defensive unit last season. It finished 31st in scoring and 28th in total yards allowed. The run defense was especially atrocious, giving up 4.8 yards per carry, he wrote. But Dallas has a much higher ceiling than most teams that bad for 2 reasons. It could still get after the quarterback, thanks to Micah Parsons, and many of its woes were due to injuries. So basically what that means is this. When everybody comes back healthy, we're going to look like a completely different team. I got one more quote. He also went to say DaRon Bland and Trevon Diggs missed 16 games between them. So while several other role players were in and out of the lineup, mind you that as well, despite the injury issues, the Cowboys were still 3rd in sacks and 9th in 3rd down defense. They can build off that if Bland and Diggs return healthy. Ladies and gentlemen, it kind of goes without saying, when this backfield is back, you get Trevon Diggs, a guy who since 2020 has 20 picks and 15 touchdowns, and then you got a guy like DaRon Bland, who in one season had 5 touchdowns returned for had 5 interceptions returned for touchdowns, setting an NFL record. I'm not even gonna lie. When I first heard that a couple seasons ago, I went googling Deion Sanders. I was like, what do you mean Deion doesn't have that? We got guys that when they come together and they're both in the backfield, it looks disgusting. And I almost skipped over a picture. We got to go back to it. Yes, just really quick, the age difference in the division. It's a gap between 2 to 6 years at the most. And as you can see, it's going to be a competitive race this season. Listen, when we are back at 100%, the Dallas Cowboys, without question, are contenders. You see the way the league talks about us when basketball is going on and baseball just started and hockey is also in the Stanley Cup. It's like, what's the news on Dak Prescott and the Cowboys? The news is Dak Prescott is recovering well. He's going to be back. He's going to have a bounce-back season. The backfield, when at 100%, is going to be scary. I mean, spooky scary. Get your Halloween mask ready, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll be back next time with the new Cowboys Digest when we get some more information. We appreciate you guys checking in, and we'll see you next time.